Welcome to Freedom Cast, where your hosts, Jordan and Miranda, show you how to get just a little bit more out of life. Are you ready to leave normal behind?
Hello, Freedom Casters, and welcome to this episode. We are doing something very exciting and a little bit different for us. We are starting a series.
Awesome.
Yes.
Excited for it.
So this series...
With sound effects.
No,
don't worry about that.
Homemade sound effects. So this series is on the power of change, and we're both very excited about it. This week, we are going to be doing a podcast with just the two of us, Jordan and I, and we're going to talk about how change has affected our lives. And then we have three very special guests, and we're going to be having all of their podcast episodes in the upcoming weeks. So it's a 4-week
So look
series.
forward to that for sure.
Yeah. July.
New guests. We've been a little bit away with some guests, or away from some guests, mostly just because it's the summer and people are busy. We're bringing people on for you to get to know. We're really excited for this one.
Yes, so if you're looking for some change this summer, tune in because it's going to be really, really good. So, like I said, we haven't really done series before, so we're really excited about this to have a little more organization. You probably turn it on and are like, I have no idea what they're going to talk about this week. It could be about Marvel. It could be about who knows what.
I was trying to think of another example, but we talk about all kinds of random things, so.
Yeah, it's very true. So, to start off, I just wanted to talk about all of the change that Jordan and I have gone through in the past 3 years, because we have gone through a lot of change. So I ran the numbers.
A lot.
I crunched some numbers.
Miranda crunched some numbers. I know for me that's scary. For you as a listener, maybe that's not as scary, but Miranda crunching numbers is like, I had to check them.
Yes. They were verified.
They were verified and corrected.
So in the past 3 years, I have changed jobs 3 times, and Jordan has changed jobs twice.
And if you count how many different things I do now, you could say I changed jobs like 50 times.
Yeah, currently Jordan is doing about 10 different jobs, so I guess you could consider that.
Yep.
New jobs. It's
I do
different.
something different like every day, pretty much.
We have moved 4 times in the past 3 years.
That was verified from Georgia to Salisbury to Davidson to Huntersville.
Yes, and I mean some of the retirement home buildings that we were in, some of those buildings we changed rooms too. So technically we changed apartments so that, technically we could.
I totally forgot about that. That is a true statement.
Yes, so a lot of movement.
A lot of movement.
We have done something different for Christmas and New Year's and the holidays every year. In the past 3 years, I mean, we had a very quiet Christmas this past year, and the year before we did the rounds, Virginia, PA, everywhere. So that's been different every year.
That made me think, we did have a podcast on traditions, and it just kind of made me think, like, we are kind of out of that, like, tradition loop right now. Like, we had some traditions in the past, but we're trying to set new ones and trying to, because traditions are cool. Like, I don't remember which episode that was, but, like, I'm all about traditions.
Oh, I love them, yeah.
And being able to do certain things like the same way multiple times, I think that's great. I think it can be something we get locked into and not want to change, but they can be fun too. So hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be able to build some traditions and not change pretty much every single thing that we're doing.
Yeah, it's been hard because
just thought I would mention that.
Because we have moved so many times and we've done so many different things. We're in a different, state every year. It's just very confusing. So hopefully, yes, we'll get some traditions, under our belt and going. We have also changed our diet completely and also our workout regime. How do you say that?
Regimen.
Our workout regimen.
Or routine.
Routine.
I think I put routine there and you were reading as regimen or regime.
Yeah.
We're not the Russians with their regimes.
By workout regime.
I think that was correct.
I don't know what I was trying to say. But yeah, we've completely changed our diet. We now do the Camp Gladiator workout thing that we've talked about a lot on here.
We talked about it multiple times recently about how we just did the Whole30. We are just at the tail end of the Whole30, eating mostly vegetables, fruits, and meat for 30 days.
Yes.
I thought it was a great experience.
I'm desperately craving
Miranda's
ice cream.
ready to be done.
give me the chocolate.
Yep.
But yeah, so we've definitely changed a lot health-wise with that. We've changed churches 2 times due to, moving around, and we're now at Life Fellowship in Cornelius, which we absolutely love.
Absolutely loving it.
And
I know we've said that before too, but man, that church it's a good church.
Really great church. And we've changed grocery stores 4 times, obviously, because we moved as well. But every time we have been very consistent with going to Harris Teeter.
Yeah.
So we do,
People keep telling us to go over to Aldi.
We
But
need
for
to,
some reason,
we need to try that still.
I don't trust it. I go into Harris Teeter, I feel comfortable.
Yeah, we'll give it a try. We'll have to definitely try it out. And then also, we have read over 100 books between the 2 of us in the past 3 years. So
most of those coming at the beginning of this year, because Miranda and I are on a 50 read 50 books each this year challenge, and I think I'm on 36 and you're on 41. So most of those have come in the last 6 months.
Yes, so that has been a very big change because I read probably 1 book a year before that. So yeah, we've gone through a lot of change. So, I mean, we're not exactly experts, but we have experienced a lot of change, and we think it is magical. We love change.
Yeah, and it's crazy to say change is magical, because I think change is something people can be scared of, and I was scared of it too, but just being able to do different things in different ways, I think it's been amazing for us. We have seen so much growth for us, just in our personal goals and our skills and abilities. We've seen a lot of growth in the way we think about things, and I think that would not have happened if we hadn't decided to move down here. And we're not saying you have to move and you have to make a big life change, no, but we're just talking about how, if you're kind of feeling restless, changing something up and doing something different can be so good for you.
Yeah, change it's going to look different for everybody.
Exactly.
So, apply change, how you want in your life, and you'll see rewards from it. So I would definitely say the number 1 benefit is growth. I think just your personal growth from putting yourself in new situations and putting yourself in uncomfortable positions that you're not used to. It's amazing because, right now, we're doing a podcast 3 years ago. That would not have happened if we hadn't moved and gone through, our experience with the retirement community and Jordan getting involved in the online universe. And it's just very cool to see how everything has lined up and how we have grown. And now, we're doing a podcast, and we love it. Yeah,
and we can tell people we do a podcast too, which is kind of cool. Like, hey, yeah, we have a podcast. We have about 40 episodes. It's cool. And I think if we had done it before, we wouldn't have been ready for it. We would have gotten to like 5 episodes, and then I would have gotten tired of it. Yeah, because it's a lot of work, and it's very cool to see how you grow when you do. You go and you change something in your life, you're going to grow, because, if everything's the same, you're going to stay the same. It's the same idea as working out. Your body's not going to grow muscle if you're doing the same exact thing, or if you're not moving. You have to move, and you have to push yourself to your limits, and that's what's going to create that growth in your life. Yep. Make you stronger, and then you're ready for even more change. Yep. We love change. That's one thing that Miranda said. You said it right off the bat about moving down here to Pennsylvania. You were like, hey, I'm super excited about this change, but I kind of can't wait to see where we're going next. I can't wait to see what God has for us after that.
Yeah, because
we're in the after that right now, because we moved out of the retirement community. We're in the after that, and I really like the after that. It's pretty cool.
I love the after that. And now we're thinking about after this, after that,
But like, I didn't have the same. You were pretty incredible to be saying that and thinking about that at the time, because like, we were totally uprooting ourselves. We had been in Mechanicsburg for about 8 years, college, and then living there in Mechanicsburg afterward. Mm-hmm. And like, we had been very much stationed there. And I was like, man, we're moving down to Georgia where we know no one, where we really don't know what we're going to be doing in the job. Like, we had some idea, but we had really we didn't really know what it was going to entail.
We weren't prepared.
No. And we had each other, and that was it, which was so cool because it brought us closer together. But it was just a really cool change.
Yes. So that's number 1 benefit of just, changing things up in your life is growth. Another really great benefit is self-awareness. And I think this goes hand in hand with growth, but you learn so much more about yourself when you put yourself in different situations. You know, if you're always at the same job and you're always around the same people, you always are going to respond in the same way. You're not really going to be pushing yourself to grow. And that's going to, you know, you have a limited vision of what you are, what your core beliefs are. And when you change, you kind of hone in on what's important to you, and, you know, things that carry over in different situations you can see as, you know, a core value in your life.
Yep.
That
was so good.
Okay.
That's all I had to say on that. That was good.
So, yeah, self-awareness is just a really great benefit from change. And I wanted to throw in, Jordan and I just finished reading, or I guess we both listened to this on Audible.
Hey, guys, I got Miranda to listen to an audiobook.
I know.
So happy about that.
I'm not huge.
We're getting her.
I mean, it took me a long time to switch to Kindle, and now it's like, audiobooks totally different too, and I'm getting there.
I'm all for all three. I'm not for one over the other. I always have a Kindle book going, I always have a print book going, I always have an audiobook going.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it makes sense to read a print book, sometimes it makes sense to read Kindle book when you just have your phone with you, and then when you're walking or cooking or cleaning or folding laundry or all that stuff, or driving, listening to the audiobook.
Yeah.
That's my only plan to get, that's how I'm going to get to 50 books this year. 50 books is a lot.
My problem is that whenever I'm home, you're home, and then you're always, you know, talking my ear off.
Yeah, right.
I don't get a chance to listen to anything else.
Okay, guys, that is crap.
Okay. Totally kidding. But we listened to Blue
No,
Fishing.
I am the distraction. I am the problem.
Yes. And it's written by Steve Sims, and a really cool guy. And he basically is writing about this kind of his theory on life, which is blue fishing, which is kind of overall having all your situations be win-win. How to, you know, use your passion, achieve goals, but also do it in a way that's helping other people at the same time. And the book, I mean, it was really good, and we're all fired up about it.
It's probably, I just stumbled on it. It was an Audible daily deal, but it's up there. I would say it's in the top 5 of our books already this year. And I would say mostly because it came at the right time for Miranda and I, because we're in this stage where, and we don't have to talk all about this book, because I know you want to move on and talk about other things. Yeah. But we love this book. It was huge for us just to kind of have an eye-opening, you know, we want to be there for people, we want to give, but sometimes Miranda and I are not exactly sure like how to do that. And he kind of answered that question for us it's really about getting to know people and listening to them, and really trying to figure out how you can do something for them, and like make it work for yourself too, but more for them than anyone else, which we knew, but some of his strategies in there were just really cool. But we did want to share the one thing that he says related to this.
Yes.
He just says,
reel it back in.
Yeah, reel it back in. To remove the word failure from your vocabulary. You're just learning how not to do something. One thing that he talks about that's huge is what we've talked about before too, is just taking action, and how much more important taking action is than planning at times. Now, me and Miranda would never advocate that you shouldn't plan for things. But
we love planning.
Oh yeah, planning's awesome. Making goal boards, all that stuff. But there comes a time where that has to stop, and you have to do something about it. And Steve Sims is all about that. He talks about, you know, he's like, you know, some people are still sitting in a room planning. He's like, I've already tried and failed 2 or 3 times, and I know 10 times more than they do. And it's true. Yeah. If you're willing to take that risk, and if you're willing to take that change, you're going to be leaps and bounds ahead of other people. Mostly just because you're going to experience failure. And if you're okay with that, and if you can get past it, then that's great. And you'll do better afterward. Yeah, so don't be afraid of change, even if it might, you know, cause you to fail. Like, don't think of it as failure. It's just, you know, you've learned something about yourself, and that's that self-awareness we're talking about. And it might be painful. More. Yeah, it's, you know, it's not always easy, that's for sure. But yeah, self-awareness, another great benefit. Another one is malleability and flexibility, and being able to be more comfortable in situations that you're not normally comfortable in, because, you know, after we moved the first 2 times, the moving process was cake, you know. After that, we got it down to an art, man. I want to move just so we can like go through the process again. Miranda literally had everything set up in the apartment. We brought it all up, and she had it set up and organized within about 3. I was gonna say 4 hours, but I feel like it wasn't 4. It was like 3.
I mean, we were like
You had everything.
cozy.
I think Miranda had everything done before Chris even left.
Yeah, it was home by the end of the day, and I mean, I'm a weirdo. I really enjoy that part of it, and like
you love that part of it.
and because of downsizing and getting into minimalism and stuff like that, it's I really enjoy that process. So, but that's
We're
not what
weirdos
talking
though.
about.
That's why
Yeah.
we do Freedom Cast.
I know we're strange people.
Weirdos that are leaving normal behind.
So malleability,
And we love it.
Another really big thing that you can gain from change. Also bravery, and this is my word of the year has been
Hugaraka.
Hugaraka.
Did I say that right?
Yeah. So bravery.
Again, Icelandic for bravery. That's Miranda's
Yes.
word of the year.
My word of the
Important
year.
to note there. That
Yes,
we're not
in
just
case-
saying weird things.
I'm assuming everyone who's listening has heard every other podcast.
Of course,
episode.
because why would you be on episode 40 if you haven't listened to all the other ones? Come
Yeah.
on, guys.
Exactly.
Start at 1.
So, bravery, and that's, that kind of goes with the malleability thing. It's just putting yourself out there and not being scared and just trying something new just to try it, just give it a shot. Life's not meant to be, in a perfectly wrapped box. You have to just, burst out and do,
Yep.
do crazy things. Not too crazy, but, crazy.
Yeah.
So, bravery, another great benefit. And the last one I want to talk about is kind of an interesting one, but
Yeah, this one's cool, but it's true.
yes. So, when you because we've moved so many times and we've done so many different things, time has really slowed down for us. Because,
Slowed down or slown down?
how did I say that?
You said Sloan,
I thought I said slowed.
like Sloan from
Can you
Aragon.
say slowed down?
You can say it slowed down.
I think that's what I said.
No, you're good. Sorry, I just
Okay.
thought that was funny, so I had to.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Time slowing down.
so it really is interesting because before like Jordan said, we were in the Mechanicsburg area for 8 years, but in my memory, it feels like 1 year it was all the same. Obviously
years in
college was
college,
different, but
But then the 4 years afterward, yeah,
It's like,
it
what did
feels
we
like
do?
it
Yeah.
feels the same. There doesn't feel like there was enough.
these like past 3 years, we've like done so many different things. It just really feels like, wow, like we've done a lot. Time is like really slowed down.
We've been to Canada. We've been to Mexico.
Yeah.
We've been to some cool places. I just thought of those
Out
right off
west,
the bat.
Yeah, we've done a lot of different random things, So that's another benefit. Just think about that. If you feel like life is just slipping by you, it's probably because you're just doing the same thing over and over again every day. It's like being on a long car ride and time goes by slowly because you're driving and doing the same thing, but then at the same time you can't remember what happened the past 5 hours. And that's not how you want to live life. You want every day to be, wow, like I'm alive. I'm feeling good. You gotta, enjoy it.
And it's possible. No matter your situation, it's possible. For sure.
It really is. Like we said, it's going to look different for everybody. So I want to go over the telltale signs that you might need some change in your life.
Yep, so if any of these apply to you, don't freak out. Because we've been there. Maybe. I hadn't read them yet. But maybe we've been there. So
Jordan
don't freak
hasn't
out.
looked over the outline
No,
completely. I slaved over it for hours, and he's just, he thinks he can just show up.
If I wrote an outline, would you look over it?
Probably not. But like we were just saying, if you feel like every day is just a repeat of the day before, and you feel like time is slipping by, and you're not accomplishing anything, and it's just, everything just seems humdrum. That's a good word for it. Then you probably need to change something up. And like we said, it doesn't mean like, okay, I have to sell all my possessions and move to Africa. That's not going to be what everyone needs. Maybe you do need like a real kick in the pants, and that's like what you need.
Maybe you do need to quit the job that you hate, And we've talked about that before too, quitting a job. We're not the type of people that think everyone needs to be entrepreneurs. And Miranda's getting there. I love it. I love the flexibility. But yeah, we're not the type of people that think everyone that needs to do that. But if you really hate your job and you dread going in every day, then you need to make a plan to get out of that. And you need to know that it's possible for you to get out. You're not stuck. You may yet have to work there for a year or two more. But don't stick to this position. I'm going to get out someday, because someday's never going to happen.
Yeah, someday doesn't exist. That's just
It doesn't.
a
It's
figment speech.
It's just the way we think that we're going to want to do something more tomorrow than we do today, and it's just false. Which is crazy. We lead ourselves to believe these things.
I know.
We do this still. Everyone does it. It's human to say, I'll feel like doing that tomorrow.
I'll do it
like
later.
You're not going to. Just do it now.
Those dishes, I'll do them later. It's our worst
Yeah.
culprit. I'll feel like it later, I'm sure. No, we never do. Constant struggle. So if you're also at your job and you aren't learning anything new, if you just feel like there's just nothing, you're just there and you're just showing up every day, but nothing is new, nothing is exciting, you're not working towards anything, your company doesn't have any goals, you have no desire to proceed up the corporate ladder, you have no, expectations of changing or like moving in the company, that's probably a sign that you need some change. And maybe it is you need change even just outside of your job. Maybe, for some reason you have to stay there to support your family and there's no other option, and we don't know your situation, but it's probably a good sign if you just are not learning anything, that you're not growing, and if you're not growing, then you probably need change.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's another pretty good sign. And another one is if you use the phrase, I'm stuck in a rut, in your like everyday vernacular, that's probably also, a good sign that you need a little bit of change. If you use the words humdrum, or if anytime someone asks you how you're doing, you say, okay.
Or if you just absolutely hate Mondays, that's another quick one. If you dread Sunday nights because Mondays are so bad, that's another.
Yeah, we always call it
reason.
The Sunday blues.
Yeah. And we always go back to the job thing, really, because we spend most of our time at our jobs during the week, especially if we commute. If you commute half an hour somewhere and then half an hour back, and you haven't a job where you work only 40 hours a week, that isn't 45, half an hour. Yeah, that's about 45 hours a week. That's a lot. That's
a really good chunk of your life there that you really want to get that part right, because it's a lot.
Yeah, and it may not be right for you right now, but again, like no one is ever truly stuck in a rut. I know we've said that before, but Miranda and I believe that to our core, that no one is ever truly stuck. You always have the opportunity to stop what you're doing and make a plan and get out.
Exactly.
And it may not be right away, and it wasn't for us.
We had to plan. It took a while.
When I first got the entrepreneurial bug, it was 3 years later, 2.5 to 3.5 years later. I can't think of the exact time frame from where I really started doing it full time. And then even from there, it's still taken me another long while to be comfortable doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's been a process.
Yeah, and it doesn't happen overnight, but we knew that was something that we wanted to get me doing, and then we worked toward that end, and we made it work.
Yeah, because if you're taking those, even if they're small action steps, that's still change, and that that still means you're headed in the right direction, and that's way better than not doing anything because you don't feel like you can. Like, do it, even if it's a tiny little thing. Like, try it. Give it a shot.
I love change.
Yes. But I do want to talk a little bit about the downsides of change because, change is hard. It's not always going to, work out perfectly and in your favor. And, we're all about change. But, I just wanted to throw these in here because I think it is important to touch on, how change, the downsides of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure, because we face some of these, and none of them are insurmountable. But, yeah, these are those things, some of the things you may face if you make change, and really these are the things that people are afraid that might happen, and oftentimes most of the time it's never as bad as you think, but these are just things to consider.
Yeah, so first I want to talk about community. Because we moved so many times, it was really, really hard to build a community around us, and that hit us especially hard when we were at the retirement home because we were living with 100 senior citizens, and we were on call 4 nights a week.
And we loved them.
We loved them.
But they were crazy.
But yeah, there were just like a couple generations separating us from them. But
we were the kids.
We were the kids, yeah. So it was really, really hard to find peers. Who else? We had no one to talk to. Who else is like a couple working together in a retirement community on call 4 nights a week? Like, no one can relate to that. And all of the other manager couples that we worked with were, well into their, 50s, even 60s. They just weren't our peers. And so, even just moving that many times, it's hard to create community. But moving that many times and having a job where you're, kind of trapped in a building most of the day, that makes it even harder. So just keep that in mind if you do, plan on moving. It does take a lot of effort to build relationships, and it's never easy to build a community, and we're really loving it now. We've been here for about a year now, and we can feel that community growing, and we really love that. But then at the same time, we do have this itch to let's move again, or what are we doing next?
To totally start over again.
Yeah.
It's cool. One of our goals this year was to really grow roots, and in that just being more part of the community. And that takes time. It's harder when you're moving around a bunch of times. That's what Miranda's trying to say. It's harder to build that community, and it's harder to grow roots, which we really recognize the value in that too, in building a community and being around other people that you can really get to know. And that's how you really get to know how you can help them too, and just to be a better part of their lives.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just the downside. If you catch the moving and change bug like we did, that's something you'll have to face.
And that leads me into the next downside, is that you are going to kind of get this itch and this craving for change all the time. Maybe this doesn't happen to everybody. Maybe this is, just a certain sect of people. But we've definitely, like I said, we love that we have grown roots here and we've been here for a year. But we just recently signed our lease for another year on our apartment. And it was like, whoa, another year? 2 years in one place? Are we sure about this?
Yeah.
And it was a big decision because, we're like, well, why don't we just go move to South Dakota? We're just
South Dakota?
No, we're not going to South Dakota.
No, probably not.
But part of us is, itching for change again. And you will get that. And you'll have probably a harder time being satisfied just staying still even for a little bit, because you're going to catch that bug and you're going to want to we just want to keep growing and moving and changing and evolving and becoming the best versions of ourselves. And we've become, kind of obsessed with it. So that's definitely, don't let that get out of hand. You
can start to feel like you're going a little crazy, but just know that might happen.
You might go crazy. It's not a big deal.
No big deal.
Just embrace it.
We can hang out as fellow crazies.
And the other downside is financially. So especially if you're looking at a change in jobs, maybe you're lucky and you're just changing to a job where you get paid more, and that's awesome for you. But all of ours have been kind of all over the place. We were doing very well financially at the retirement home because we didn't have to pay for rent or food or a shelter or utilities. We were living large, but the stress wasn't worth it. So that's what, when we left, we took a really big financial hit to have, Jordan do all of his entrepreneurial stuff and, me doing my, regular job. And we're still working on figuring out that piece, but I would never say that, I wish we didn't do this. 100% the change was good. The money part is hard, but you have to account for it. You have to plan for it. We saved up. We're like, okay, we're going to leave this job, but we're going to save up a certain amount first before we do it, give ourselves a buffer, give us some time. And it worked out. You just have to have a plan.
You really just have to figure out what your values are in terms of what you really care about. If you're getting to a point where you are super stressed and you're really feeling it, then it might be time for a change. But then you also have to realize that there's going to be other things that might cause you other stress and other problems. You're going to have to just pick your poison in that way and figure out what matters most to you, and what makes sense to change and what makes sense to cut out and what makes sense to add. Yes. But it's always good to talk about it with your significant other or just a good friend before you make a big change, just to see what's going on. That's always a good piece of advice, just to get other people's thoughts and opinions on what you're doing. But yeah. Yeah.
And another little caveat here is we never want you to run away from something if maybe I don't know, someone broke up with you and you're just like, I'm going to move 1,000 miles away because of this person. Do it for yourself. Don't do it for outside reasons. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Don't run away from things. You have to confront your problems. Running away from them isn't going to help, but you know, that's just a little added caveat for you out there.
But sometimes it can be nice to get away too.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out what your reasons are.
You just make sure your heart's in the right place with what you're doing. So now I want to talk about ways that you can apply change in your life. And I have some tall changes, some grande changes, and some venti changes.
Because we finally know what those mean, because I go to Starbucks all the time.
Yeah, so I just thought that was a cute way of, like, saying it. It's kind of silly, but I like it.
Can I get a venti iced Americano unsweetened, please? That's my drink.
Yeah, that's... on the whole 30, it's all we can really have.
Yep. It's good.
Other than normal black coffee, obviously. But, yeah, so a tall or small change that you can make. Just some ideas. These are random.
Miranda definitely did this outline.
You can...
Just be prepared for this, guys.
Be prepared. You can just part your hair on a different side of your head. It's so silly, but I don't know. When I do it, I just feel kind of like a different person. It's like, wow, like my whole face is different.
Do you ever do that, though?
I do sometimes, yeah, because it like... I know your hair gets like flatter on the side, so I don't know, when you switch it, it's like, you know.
I've never noticed that you did that.
Yeah, well, I haven't switched it in a while. Now that I'm talking about change, I probably should. We'll do like a side by side photo. I gotta walk the walk. I'm talking the talk. So
I wasn't trying to call you out. I was just trying to say I didn't notice that either way. But that's not something I would notice anyway.
Yeah, but. Yeah, just little changes. Something like that, or just going to the grocery store and trying a new vegetable that you've never tried. We just recently, what was it called? Bok choy.
Bok choy was really good, actually. It was very tasty.
Way better than kale.
You know, kale sucks. Let's just be honest here for a second and change. Kale sucks. I mean, there's nothing good about it. I know it's good for you. It doesn't taste like anything. It makes you feel like you're a rabbit with no taste buds. That's what you are. You're a rabbit with no taste buds.
I've tried really hard. It's the equivalent of me wanting to like Wonder Woman is me wanting to like kale.
Yeah.
I should.
We should have cut our losses.
I need to, yeah. Like I really want to like this. I'll try boiling it. I'll try sauteing it. Let's make kale chips. No.
Bok choy was really good. I really liked the cabbage you made last night too.
Yeah, we never eat cabbage. I was like, what do you do with a cabbage?
We boiled it? I don't know. Maybe we get some advice on cabbage cooking.
But just try something different.
That was just a side note.
I mean, or like a fruit. Get one of those like exotic looking fruits and give it a try, you know? Why not? Like, it's life. Enjoy it. Switch things up.
I think my brother Jeff and his wife Melinda and the kids do that. I think they get like a bunch of different... Shout out to you guys. I think you get like... a new fruit like every month or every week or something, or they were doing that for a while.
It's
just
fun.
a cool like small try something new. I mean, you may hate it, you know, like we hate kale, but you know, you're never gonna know.
It's that self-awareness.
Yep.
It's good to know.
I know that I love kiwis now. Last couple months I've been eating a lot of kiwi. It's so good.
And this is a weird one.
You don't like it.
But no, I do like kiwi, but the peaches. Like I never ate peaches, and I'm like, these are delicious.
Oh, peaches are amazing.
But that's like an obvious one. Most people know that peaches are good. That's just me being silly. But
we put ginger root in our tea. That's good.
Yeah. But another even like silly little change is like when you're at work, like use a different bathroom stall. And like I don't know if like I'm the only one that does that, but like I just always go to the same one. You know, like do you think there's like some crazy like psychology behind?
You feel safer if you're going to use the same one?
But like which one you choose? Have you ever thought about that?
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Like if you go to a corner stall or if you go to like the middle one, or I think it would be
or if you go in one of those bathrooms that's just like soaking wet, that seems like you go to these places and I don't know why. Maybe someone can tell us that too. But there's these bathrooms that are just like I don't know if it's humid, but the bathrooms are like soaked. So you try to pick the stall that's like the least wet. Do ladies experience this?
I don't.
Because I've been in bathrooms before that like everything is just soaked wet.
I can't relate to that, but like. I'm
not saying it's like pee or anything. I'm saying it's like super humid.
Everything's just wet.
It's gross.
Okay.
It's a real thing.
Okay.
She doesn't believe me.
So those are just a handful of, some changes you can make. And they're just silly, but, why not? Give it a shot. You'll get more, joy out of it than you realize. So, some grande changes. This one, instead of just parting your hair on a different side, get a new haircut. Try something different. Go really crazy. Shave your head.
Yeah. My dad did this, not shaved his head, but he
Michael Ring.
he got a new haircut, I think like 4 or 5 years ago, and he just got it one day and loved it. He was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get a new haircut," and that can be a cool grande size change.
Yeah, it's fun too. And I mean, I know I hope I never lose my hair because I have like a weirdly shaped head. Like I couldn't pull off being bald, but you know, if you want to just try, like,
Randy, you'd still be beautiful no matter what.
Oh, you wouldn't say that if you saw me bald.
I'm gonna buy a wig.
Yeah, but yeah. So just try a new hairstyle or start a new hobby. Like go to a dance class. You know, learn how to salsa or learn how to knit or take a boat building class. You know, there's all sorts of opportunities out there. It's 2018. You can just go on YouTube and learn something. We watched a cool video about accents last night, and it's like, you know, I'm not striving to be great at doing accents. I'm awful at it, but you know, it was just fun to learn something new. And you know, we have so many resources nowadays. You got to use them for good, you know? Don't just like waste your time.
Use them for good, not evil.
Exactly. And or you could just do something like do like a wardrobe swap with a friend, you know, grab a couple outfits, say, hey, let's switch. Just something fun. It's fun, you know? Change is good. It's fun.
It's good to warm yourself up.
Yeah, if you're
because you got to warm yourself up for these venti changes.
Yeah, so here we go. The venti changes. These are the big ones.
Dun, 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 dun,
These
dun,
are
dun,
the $5 changes. That's how much. That's expensive.
The venti's normally only like 30 cents more, but
oh, well, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
We spend a lot of money at Starbucks. But
Probably
this is the big stuff. This is changing your job, moving to a new state, changing your relationship status, getting rid of a car, things like that. Just the big...
And going down to one car like Miranda and I have?
Yes. Going down to one car, and that car is literally falling apart.
No, literally. And it's getting to the point, we talk about this, like, you know, you probably recognize this if... this is off subject, but if you're doing your dishes and sticking with them and like doing them as you go, you can keep them up. But then as soon as you get to a certain point, it just like, you know, it goes over the fold. It starts to just be too much, and then you just don't do any of it, and then it just starts to pile up.
It gets out of control.
And then you don't do the dishes at all. No one in the house does. They just pile up and they're just there. That's what our car is turning into. Both the doorknobs are breaking.
Doorknobs.
The door handles. Our Corolla is so old it has doorknobs.
I know. It was built in the 1800s. No,
The door handles.
The door handles are both broken. The rear view mirror doesn't work right. It started to make like a squeaking noise yesterday. I've never heard it squeak.
Was it squeaking today?
I heard a couple squeaks. I mean, it's just falling apart slowly, but I think we're just going to buy bikes after this. I think we've like given up on cars. But Jordan's looking at me like, no way. We're getting the Jeep. But
that would be ideal.
That is neither here nor there.
Then you'd be driving the Jeep every day, and that wouldn't be fun.
Yeah.
I could drive you to work every day. That would be the deal.
Yeah, so that's our rundown on the power of change. We love change. It has really helped us grow so much.
It's been huge.
We're just much better versions of ourselves because we've gone through change. And I'm very excited for these next 3 weeks. We are going to be talking to my other sister. We talked to my sister Justine J. Beans.
J. Beans?
She hates, but it's on the podcast now.
I love saying it. I love saying her name, J. Beans.
She wants it to be J. Boss, but we're going with J.
Everyone
Beans.
else calls her J. Boss, but we were just being funny the one day, and we just started calling her that here. I don't know why.
But this is a different sister.
Not J. Beans.
Yeah, she's been teaching for about 10 years now, and she just made a big life change. We're going to be talking to our good friends who have gone through moves, who have gone through, changes. We have a couple that just got married recently and also changed jobs. So the next 3 weeks are going to be just really, really good. So stay tuned. We are very, very excited about it.
Yes.
And we also want to give a great big shout out to Kat and Christian Eggleston, who we got headshots done and a couple photos with us.
I'll put those pictures in the show notes so you can see that. jmring.com/podcast.
They did an amazing job. Jordan and I, if you put a camera in front of us, we turn into the most awkward people.
We don't know what to do.
It's like you would think we were on a first date, not, almost 6 years of marriage. When they're like, okay, like, here's a picture of you two.
Yeah, like, look cute.
And we're like, ah. We freak out. So they did such a good job of, I said it this way, of capturing our essence and just making us feel comfortable and giving us little tips to look more natural. And I love how they turned out. They're like my favorite pictures ever. So if you are getting married soon, or you need a headshot done, or, whatever, check out Eggleston Co. They have a really beautiful website. And
I will link to that as well
Yes.
in the show notes for this episode number 40.
So check them out. We are just so happy with the pictures, and that's, that could be your change. Get like a new headshot of yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a great change, because we were able to put that on a lot of our things online.
Yeah, and just makes you look so much more professional.
You look more professional, but you also feel more professional. I put
Yeah.
the photo on my Upwork profile, and I just feel so much better about it, just because of the way I look. And it's not just about vanity; it's about confidence.
Yes.
It's cool.
So, yes, stay tuned. We're very excited for this Power of Change series, and thank you so much for listening. We love you guys, and stay toasty.
Stay toasty, friends.